Good morning, everybody. Um, got an interesting email this morning. Man, I'll show it to you. Just give me a second. Have we really stooped this low in the community to try to tell people not to go to other people's channels behind their back? And I'm going to show you an email I just received. But I guess the person, and I'm not going to mention names because I really think this person's a real TI. However, it's not that I don't know why they're downing, because they certainly act friendly to us, but this person does, and I'm not going to mention names, but I am going to show you. This is just crazy stuff in the community. I got an email from somebody. We helped a couple years ago with a bus ticket to get somewhere, and I guess the person that and I'm trying not to say names here, because that person's a TI too. I just think they're going about what they're doing wrong, as far as you can't go to other people's viewers and talk bad about them behind their back and try. I guess they're trying to get them to come to their channel. Well, from what I was told, here, let's just look at the email. And I'm going to show you, I blocked the name out because the name's at the top. The name of the channel that done it's at the top. But I blocked it out because I'm being respectful. I don't want to get no tit for tat, but I'm just showing you this is why we can't unite. Jealousy, and everybody thinks spreading truth is a competition and trying to get other people's. So it says, Holly and Dave, letting you know, she mentioned you talking about the name above I scratched out in her live a few days ago and told me to beware of you. Little did she know, y'all helped me tremendously when I was homeless a couple years ago when I needed a bus ticket. Just thought I'd let you know, because if she's approaching me, she's approaching others. And I think it's utter nonsense TIs are doing this to each other. Would have emailed sooner, but my dog passed away that same day, and it's been an emotional roller coaster for me this week. Anyways, thanks for all you do. And I'm going to keep the person's name anonymous. But you see, little did they know, and so I think that little did they know, we helped her, and we've been in contact with her and helped her a lot over the years. And I'm saying, she's called with questions and situations and stuff, but that's irrelevant. I'm just saying we need to stop the nonsense. I mean, this is just horrible nonsense, attacking each other behind people's backs. I mean, I was in a live the other day, and I'm not going to mention that person. I'm not going to mention names. I was in a live the other day, and this person was talking good about us. At the same time, I'm trying to comment. I put my first comment, and then the second comment, I'm trying to ask somebody about Jade Helm, and I'm in timeout. I've been put in timeout by the mod. I mean, I don't go perping people in no comments. Why would you put me in timeout? So anyway, and I'm not going to mention names, but anyway, I got some. I'm going to show some evidence of a friend of mine who sent me some evidence, and I've been meaning to show this evidence to everybody. And then I'm going to talk about Hyperame, and then I'll be off. I got a busy day today with responsibilities and stuff, but okay, let's see. I'm gonna stop. Okay, let me see if I can find this. So this guy, they've I'm just gonna say he's a vet. Okay, he's a vet, fought for this country, and they're torturing him and targeting him, and it's horrible. Horrible. What they're doing to this guy. Okay, now look, this dude has a nice house, loves his rose bushes. He loves his rose bushes. What? Look, this is evidence, and I hope, let me see if I can, this is evidence of the I don't know if you can see the red right there, and I don't know why it won't play as voice.
From this angle on the side of my house. This is video evidence of the herbicides being put on my house.
You see them red marks right there?
See, and it's in drops.
And I'm going to show you more of his evidence.
This angle on the side of my house. And how it comes, how they drop it. And how it comes, how they drop it. The red.
You see that? You see how his tree is thinned out? They done that. That tree was not always thinned out. They're spraying his yard with herbicides, and he caught some of it on the bag, on this bag right here. This is a guy who fought for our country, a serious, and I'm not going to mention his name, but the dude is real deal military and getting tortured, direct energy weapon tortures, burnt alive, muscle atrophy, harassed every time he walks to get his mailbox, to go to his mailbox. This is the rose bushes, and he takes care of his roses. Look how thin out they are. This is bloom. Let me see if I can play this. This is, he'll tell you.
Sir, I'm supposed to love degenerates. Look at my roses, right? See how they're in full bloom? Look at what they did to this bush. This is a full fucking rose bush, and they completely killed it. It's completely dead. Now we'll walk over to my trees in the front. I had beautiful roses around them and my trees. I keep trying to let my tree grow back. This is it trying to grow back. Right here. And it's brown. The whole tree's dead. They killed the whole tree, and they killed my other tree. I'm supposed to love these degenerate losers? Nah. I'm sorry.
Okay. That's picture evidence of the stuff they're spraying on his yard to kill his grass, kill his rose bushes, everything. This is a military man, retired military. Okay. Let's see what else we got. That's his grass. Okay, that's something else. And I'm going to show y'all one more thing. I got to upload it to the drive. Some evidence I picked up the other night. Yeah. But yeah, I guess that's why we can't unify, because of stuff like that. You got people going behind our backs, and I can show, me and Holly do not let our left hand know what our right hand's doing. We can show hundreds of receipts where we've helped TIs. So why would people go in behind, and we can show the receipts. We just don't think we have to, and we shouldn't have to. And we don't like telling our business when we help people. I mean, this is ridiculous. I am glad, thank you. You know who you are for sending that and letting us know what was going on. Because I didn't know. I thought we were all cool and on good terms. I had no clue they were going behind our back doing that. Okay. All right, one more thing, and then I'm going to get into information I have for y'all today. Okay, let's go right here. Okay, so look, I went out. Oh, I'm not sharing the screen, my bad. Bear with me 1 minute. I gotta share the screen again. Okay, I went out, this is 3 in the morning. I noticed this ball of light on the camera, and I'm like, hold on, let me go out there and see what that is. And I went and stood beside it and everything. And it stayed there for about an hour and it disappeared. And yeah, if anybody don't believe me, I do have the camera footage where I went and stood beside it. I just wanted to show a quick screenshot. I do not know what this is. It was researched by somebody that watches our channel, and they're researching it more. And thank you for researching that for us. So far, here's what we got from the person that researched that. Because I shared it on the channel yesterday, and they said that these balls of light are called plasmoids. I'm still researching it, but I find it interesting. There was an uptick in sightings around the same time drones were, especially at the same time. Palantir through November, especially in New Jersey in November 2024 through Christmas, then gone. At the same time, Palantir came out with a commercial called Future Warfare. So, very interesting. So anyway, I'm going to stop sharing. I have some good information to share with y'all about this targeting thing and Hyperame. Sorry, I'm just unorganized. I really wasn't going to do a video today till I got that email. I just thought I would address that. And that's why we can't unite right there. Too much backstabbing, and people, nobody can ever send you proof. Nobody will ever send you proof that we've talked about anybody or another TI, or called anybody perps or told anybody not to go anybody's channel. We don't do that. We support each TI's channel 100%. Unless you're perping people and we can prove it and we know you're a perp, that's a different story. Okay, look, AI, and that's why I didn't reveal the name, because I don't know. I guess this person's just desperate to, I don't know. I don't know, but I think they're real TIs. So that's why I'm not going to expose the name, because I don't get into the drama and starting drama and all that. But if that person's watching, they know who they are, and they should feel ashamed of themselves, because we've never deterred anybody away from her channel or tried to. Okay. It's a game. AI system orchestrating, coordinating, dictating a deadly game. Organized stalking, or street theater and cyber theater and gaslighting, is based on the Occam razor principle and non-cooperative gaming theory, Hyperame Theory. Organized stalking, gaslighting tactics are how government contractors constantly discredit and set up and entrap their victims to neutralize activists, dissidents, whistleblowers, and whoever else is targeted. I have to be careful saying that. I've said that before, and they're like, well, they target more than activists, dissidents, and whistleblowers. Yeah, they target most of the population's targeted, if not all the population, really. If you really deep down, no, not everybody not everybody's targeting. I would say, like, I'm not saying everybody don't experience stalking and all that. I'm talking about everybody has been hooked up via stuff sprayed in the skies. When I say that, I'm not talking about everybody gets smear campaigns, everybody gets, so let's just make that clear. But anybody can become a target, basically, is what I'm saying. It is done to appear common, ordinary, and expected to the casual observer. It is a violent and sometimes deadly game based on Occam razor principle, Hyperame theory, and other models of deception manipulation. For mind control technology to be effective, they must keep their victims inside a controlled environment. These contractors cannot allow their victims to engage in a pattern of random or chaotic situational and conversational scenarios unchecked, because it disrupts their technology by disrupting the verification process. Occam razor principle states the simplest answer is always the truth. The simplest explanation is always the best explanation. So in order to discredit a person, all one needs to do is engage in a sufficiently complex scheme or game of harassment, and because the more complicated the truth, the less likelihood of belief by the ordinary person. The complexity of that harassment will generally be sufficient to cause most people to turn away in disbelief. It involves repetitive reinforcement using tactics which can be explained away to the casual observer. So they sensitize the target to gaslighting and stalking, and when the TI finally responds to the repeated daily minor or severe social aggressions, the delusional or mentally unstable depiction is reinforced. At that point, the government's informants and perpetrators turn into provocateurs, then pull bait and switch with law enforcement and the whistleblowers set up in a trap. Hyperame theory is a mathematical model and basically means game theory applied to decision tree modeling, mathematically proving that by constantly and perpetually altering any value in the model, one can constantly and perpetually alter that model's expected outcome. And I may repeat certain things, but that's because us target individuals, we sometimes thinking is clouded, so I really think this is important information if I repeat it. With mind control, the model is mind control victim. So by constantly and perpetually altering any value in the daily life, daily activities, etc. of the mind control team, the hive mind teams, hiding behind and using law enforcement agencies to do their dirty work for over 2 decades, can alter any value in the daily life, daily activities, etc. of the victim. Am I saying all law enforcement is involved? No. And that's one thing we're mislabeled as too, that we don't respect authority, or we don't respect the military, nothing like that. Well, you got to understand, this is high level stuff, so not everybody knows about this. I respect my country. I respect the people who fought in our country. But what I don't respect is the people that are behind these black projects that know about this and don't say nothing. Extremely low frequency waves are used to torture the victim into near incoherency, where the government contractors then capitalize off the mistakes and poor decisions they force the victims to make. So basically, torture, make them make wrong decisions, because you make wrong decisions when you're in fight or flight. You make wrong decisions when you're being tortured so bad with by extremely low frequency weapons. The more trivial, paltry, fanciful, and fantastic the tactics used against the mind control victims, then by default, the more trivial, fanciful, fantastic the complaints of the victim that these trivial, paltry, fanciful, fantastic tactics are happening. So the victim is discredited, while simultaneously the trauma-based mind control contractors achieve their goal of constantly provoking the victim into repeated emotional response patterns, trying to function and survive, which can be remotely measured and integrated back into remote neural monitoring data. Hypergame theory is achieved by perpetually basing one's next move off the opponent's last move, meaning the game never ends because there's always a higher optimum to choose from, always the next move to be made. Hence, the game never ends because the system must constantly provoke you into sensory and neural responses to engineer patterns of multiple synaptic responses. They need multiple responses of the same behavior, same speech, etc. to determine coherent patterns of thought verification. Only then can those synaptic responses be integrated back into remote neural monitoring data as the conscious supercomputer continues to build a cognitive model of your will, intellect, and emotion for training, research, and development. Hypergame process is endless and can be triggered at will by the attackers, and many times you will only notice the remote neural attacks are happening if you learn to read active memory. For the hypergame theory to work, meaning for the CIA hive mind teams to make the next move, they must force the mind control victim to move or respond first. The objective being to force the victim into an endless series of synaptic responses each day, meaning to place the victim into and keep the victim inside a psychotronic concentration camp. What I mean is they trigger or engineer chaos, torture, and trauma in the victim's daily life and daily activities. Then they wait for the victim to respond to that fabricated torture, trauma, and chaos which the victim must do to function and survive, thereby forcing the victim into an endless series of counter moves throughout the day, just trying to function and survive inside a psychotronic concentration camp because of the physical and psychological trauma and torture. Each counter move is an invoked potential which can be remotely measured and integrated back into remote neural monitoring data. Hypergame theory is a deadly game of eugenics based on the mathematical model known as the non-cooperative gaming theorem, using two things, deception and manipulation. Hypergame theory is just a moniker to describe that model. By deadly, I mean they need to walk you to your death, physical death, social death, emotional death, and psychological death. There are only two ways to defeat the hypergame theory. 1. Refuse to play the game to begin with. 2. Place the opposing party in a position where they can no longer better their own position against you. Nash equilibrium. Since you're dealing with a conscious AI exascale supercomputer of remote neural networks programmed with hypergame theory algorithms, and because the contractors have far more resources, time, money, manpower, etc., than you do, there's really no possible possibility to use the Nash equilibrium, meaning you cannot, for the most part, place the contractors in a position where it can no longer better its position against you. So the only way for the TI to defeat the hypergame theory they use against you is to refuse to play the game to begin with. Ignore them. Don't respond at all, either positively or negatively. Totally ignore them. Do not exhibit any response. In order for the trauma-based mind control to work, they must force you to continually respond to their street theater, situational scenarios, and conversational scenarios, meaning they must constantly employ specific tailored scripts against you, such as groups of people taking pictures of each other, arguing with each other, etc. These abnormal, aberrational scenarios are crucial to force you into a set of responses to determine coherent patterns of thought. Do not try and constantly adjust and counter the chaos they engineer. Just ignore them. Get up from your desk, walk away from the computer office, and come back later, much later, after the conversation or situation, chaos, trauma they just used against you has been pushed out of your short-term active memory. Do and think something else immediately to push the chaos and trauma from your active memory and thought process. The hypergame theory model of deception and manipulation employed against mind control victims is endless because there's always a higher optimum to choose from. So because there's always a higher optimum to choose from, there's always a next move to be made by the hive mind teams, surveillance teams, organized stalkers, and specifically the conscious remote neural monitoring supercomputer system of remote neural networks that is basing direct energy torture on that model. Start torture, stop torture, start, stop, etc. The process is endless. Hence the game never ends because the system must constantly provoke you into sensory and neural responses to engineer patterns of multiple synaptic responses. One response is not enough. They need multiple responses of the same behavior to determine coherent pattern of thought, which is called verification. Only then can those synaptic responses be integrated back into remote neural monitoring data as the conscious supercomputer continues to build a cognitive model of your will, intellect, and emotion for training, research, and development. So the hypergame process is endless and can be triggered at will by the attackers, and many times you will only notice the remote neural attacks if you can read active memory. I repeated that because that's important. In order for the hypergame theory to work, hive mind teams must make a next move. They must force mind control victim to move or respond first. The objective being to force victim in an endless series of synaptic responses, meaning place the victim into and keep him inside a psychotronic concentration camp, which is a short combination of the two movies, The Exorcist and The Truman Show. This is why the victim is surrounded and boxed in constantly. For as soon as the victim is chosen for this technology, all available apartments, homes, hotel rooms next to, around the sublet, trauma-based mind control, hive mind team, surveillance team, organized stalkers move in, training, research, and development begins, culminating in the cold blood murder or incapacitation of the victim or training research once training, research, and development ends. And that's all I have for today. Hope everybody is doing the best they can. I know we've been busy around here with responsibilities out the butt. Thank you. And I'm not going to mention his name. Joe. He told me I could. Thank you, Joe, for sending me that evidence to share and show how horrendous these crimes are. Beautiful rose bushes at one time, beautiful trees, beautiful landscape at one time, beautiful grass, ruined. Why? Because they knew he loved his nature. They knew he loved his landscaping. He loved it. It was beautiful, so they destroyed it. They destroy anything you love. They try to anyway. So God bless all TIs. As far as what I mentioned at the beginning, I'm not going to down people and at all. Another thing, we do our best to get back with you in time. Sometimes it may be a week and a half of getting back. That don't mean we don't care. That don't mean that we're ignoring you. That don't mean that we don't like you. So please don't take it that way. Especially the people who message Holly, because she's busy too, and goes through a lot as far as being tired, being put to sleep. I'm not going to go into details, but things are a lot better lately. So we will answer your emails. We will answer your text messages. Like I said, just please, if you knew the situations and stuff that we were in and responsibilities we had, and we actually told y'all and didn't keep it private, you would do nothing but respect the fact that sometimes we're slow getting back, and know for a fact we don't got nothing against nobody, or just because we don't answer you. It don't mean we don't like you, don't mean nothing. We'll eventually answer you. It may take a week sometimes, but sometimes it's just that way. And truth be told, if we answered every email and reached out to every TI right then, our time, we wouldn't have no time to get nothing done around here. So I appreciate the ones that do respect that and understand. I really appreciate y'all for understanding and not just jumping to conclusions that we don't like you because we don't answer right away and all that. Anyway, I'm rambling. God bless. I hope y'all found this helpful. Any suggestions on any topics you'd like me to speak on, just let me know. I have an interview tomorrow. And anyway, God bless.